lovely Carol Green. So good to see you again.
Thank you, Renee. It's always so much fun.
We love having you on our show.
Thank you.
You introduce us to many cool farms around the area.
Yeah.
Right now we are at J&J Family Farm in Clover. Mushrooms, they have mushrooms and honey. Really cool place.
Very, very cool place. And actually, it's amazing to me the bounty of incredible farms that we have in your county, and I'm all about showcasing those farms. So here at J&J, Jennifer has all kinds of fabulous mushrooms. And right now it's been so hot in October, the hot October we're having,
Yes.
that the shiitake mushrooms are just an absolute bounty. And you're going to get to see those in a minute, how they grow.
I can't wait to see those. So tell us what you're cooking up, a little fall treat for
Yes,
us.
I am, because I'm just willing the cold weather to arrive.
Me too. Maybe this will bring it on.
That's
I hope
right.
so.
So we are going to make a risotto.
Ooh,
Yes. And this risotto is featuring the shiitake mushrooms
Okay.
with butternut squash, roasted butternut squash, and kale. It's a vegetarian dish.
Okay.
It's very, very healthy, and it's very, very light.
All right.
So here the shiitakes are, and this is what they look like whole. And you can see how perfect they are. They were just harvested yesterday. And all I did is I just sliced them up, okay? So let me get some heat going here.
Okay.
And I'm going to be cooking with ghee today, which is clarified butter. Actually, my good friend Ellie makes this ghee. You know, it's also called drawn butter.
I believe I've heard it called that.
Right,
Okay.
right. It's when you heat butter and separate the curds and the whey. So this doesn't burn. You know,
Okay.
it's got a nice high smoke point.
Okay.
And so we're going to get this nice and hot. And we're going to saute the mushrooms and the onions and the garlic, and then I'll show you how to put in all the other components. So let's get going with that. Beautiful ghee, and it goes.
That looks good. It just looks so much better than the normal butter you get, right?
Well, the problem with normal butter is that it burns very, very easily, you know. So in go the shiitake mushrooms. And they're just wonderful. They're very
so fluffy.
Yes, but they're also they're earthy, but then they're delicate at the same time. You know,
Yes.
Mushrooms are actually a very, very healing anti-cancer food. Yeah.
And you were talking about when you were letting me know these recipes. I know that obviously October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
So talk about, I guess, the importance of them to eat them.
Yes. Well, they've got a lot of phytonutrients in them, antioxidant compounds. And there's certain mushrooms like hen of the woods and maitake and reiki, which are even more so, you know.
Wow.
It's just really important with breast cancer awareness to make sure that you're eating the rainbow and to eat a wide variety of foods. So in this dish, we're going to be adding kale, which is just crazy off the charts antioxidant food, butternut squash, and then, of course, the risotto. So for risotto, we use an arborio rice, which is a short grain rice. You can see it's a very, very short rice. And it's going to take about 25-30 minutes to cook this dish because you have to do it really, really slowly, you know. So while this is working, I'm going to show you a couple of things here.
Okay.
We're just going to add in a little bit more ghee here. You need a good 2 to 3 tablespoons of this, and you know you can add in a little more as you need that.
And you have these recipes.
Absolutely, yes. All ready for you on CN2 and on tasteofhealing.com. Okay. So these are actually mushrooms which I soaked ahead, and these are dried mushrooms. And you have a little dish of them at the end there in the display.
Right here? Okay.
Yeah. These are mushrooms that Jennifer dries, and these are her oyster mushrooms. Now, if you're asking me why am I using dried mushrooms when you've got all these beautiful fresh mushrooms, when you dry the mushrooms, the flavor is just so much more intense. It's absolutely incredible. And then, of course, you've got this broth that you're going to use as part of the dish, you know. So we're just going to give these a quick chop, and we're going to put them in as part of the dish. And it just gives you like a whole nother depth of flavor to the dish, which is absolutely so yummy. So I'm putting in red onion with this dish, and the reason that I chose red onion, the whole onion family and garlic family contain quercetin, which is a very, very valuable anti-cancer food. And I just decided to choose pink mushrooms because of pink onions because of pink month, you know.
And they're beautiful too, right?
They're beautiful too. In goes the garlic.
Okay.
Also a sulfur food, which is also a very valuable anti-cancer food. And in go the dried oyster mushrooms. And you'll see these are just going to give the dish just a whole another depth of flavor. All the wonderful earthiness and woodiness, and just going to make you feel like it's fall.
You can smell it. I always love doing these cooking segments with you because you teach us so much about eating healthy. Makes me want to go in my cabinet and throw away all the bad stuff.
Good.
It's so good for you.
Well then I've achieved my mission, because that is what Taste of Healing is all about. And you know, the tagline for Taste of Healing is healing never tasted so good.
It's very true, because you make healthy food. You know, some people think it doesn't taste as well, but you make it taste delicious. It can happen.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you. Okay. Does it look great? You can see how it's looking nice and wilted down. The mushrooms are nice and seared. It's looking absolutely gorgeous, and doesn't it smell divine?
Yes, it smells
so. Renee, the next key step is that you want to put in another nice big spoonful of the clarified butter. And you know what? You can use regular butter, but it is going to be way more prone to burning. Okay? So if you use regular butter, use a little bit of olive oil with that. Okay? In goes the risotto, the rice, the borio rice. And what you're going to do is you're going to cook the rice now for about a minute. And what it's doing is it's coating the rice, and it's going to keep it separate, because you want to have a dish which got, the rice must be cooked but still separate. You don't want mush, you know. So this is kind of a key step at this point, is to give the rice a little bit of a saute.
Now, where can you find like the risotto rice? Like
almost any supermarket, Publix, Harris Teeter. I've even seen it at Aldi. You know, I mean, this is the great thing about the world we live in now, where everybody's getting more adventurous, is that a lot of these things that were previously so gourmet are available now at a lot of regular stores.
Yeah, because I think about risotto being, like you said, gourmet, like you find at more fancier restaurants and everything.
But I think it's something that a lot of people have been afraid to even try and do. Okay, now we're ready for the next step. So this is vegetable broth. You can use chicken broth. I decided to keep this dish entirely vegetarian. Now be careful of the steam, because steam can really burn you. Okay. All right. It's a free facial.
Yeah, that's right. Eat healthy and getting a facial at the same time. You can't beat that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So
kind of adding up as you're just watching it a little bit.
So initially I probably put about 2 ladles full in. Okay. So now I'm going to make sure this little stove of mine gets furiously hot, but you want it kind of medium, low heat, not crazy hot. Okay. And at this point you're just going to keep stirring. You see all the brown bits came up at the bottom, which is the flavor. You know, in French you say the fond, which is the flavor. The fond. So you can go ahead at this stage and put your seasonings in. This one, I'll put the link on my website. It's a spice from the savory spice store that I really like. It's called Butternut Bay. And it's cumin and coriander, a bit of black pepper, a bit of chili in here. But you can use just any all-purpose seasoning blend that you like. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of salt in, but I'm not going to put much salt in. And the reason is that this dish gets finished with a lot of cheese.
Oh, I love cheese.
Which is salty on its own.
Yes.
So you don't want to, you want to be careful with this dish not to oversalt it. Okay. And the other ingredient that I'm going to add in is thyme. And this is actually a woolly thyme that came out of my garden. Smell that. But Jennifer has regular thyme in this garden as well. You can use dried thyme, but I just really like the flavor profile of using some fresh thyme in this dish, you know. So you see how it's all cooked away, all right? And so now you're adding your broth a ladle at a time. And this whole process is going to take about 25 minutes. Of just, you know, if you run out of broth, just use hot water. It can be cold, but it'll take much longer because it's got to come up to temperature every time. So it's just a process of stirring, adding the broth, stirring, and then towards the end you'll start to taste the rice, and you want it to have good mouthfeel. The other vegetables we're going to put in towards the end, because I don't want them to be too cooked down or mushy, you know. So why don't you go and take a look at how Jennifer grows these amazing mushrooms.
Let's do it.
And I'll see you back in a little bit.
With Carol, with this beautiful risotto, as you see, it is getting the final touches. It's, you know, it's starting to come to life here. So tell us the next step.
So the risotto is about, I tasted one little piece and it's probably about 3 or 4 minutes out from being ready.
Okay.
So I've been slowly adding the broth like this, and you can see that it's been getting more and more plumped up. And I'm going to start adding my vegetables at this stage. I'm going to put the kale in. This is Lancino kale,
Okay.
which you take it off the hard stems and just give it a rough chop.
Okay.
Because kale really likes to be wilted down, whether you have it in a salad or in a dish, you need to cook it a little bit.
Okay.
So we add the kale, let it wilt down. We're almost there. Did you like seeing the mushrooms?
Oh, the mushrooms were beautiful. I've never seen that before. That was the neatest thing ever.
Yeah. I just love the diversity that we have here in York County,
Yes.
and the people that are doing extraordinary things.
I know, and a lot of hard work. I couldn't imagine.
A lot of hard work, and that's why I'm so passionate about supporting farmers. Is because no one really realizes that people that do this really care about our
Care
food.
about eating healthy and everything.
So it's already looking healthier, isn't it?
So good.
Yeah. So in go the beautiful bright colored butternut squash, which I roasted. The instructions are in the recipe.
Okay.
Really simple. Beautiful bright colored, the carotenoids. Anytime you've got yellow vegetables, you've got the carotenoids, which are anti-cancer compounds. All right. So, Renee, people often get confused. They look at my website and they see a lot of vegan and vegetarian recipes in amongst the chicken, and they're like, well, are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? So, no, I'm really not.
Okay.
But I am a huge advocate for my clients making sure they eat a lot of plant-based foods in their diet. I think it all depends on your bio-individual physiology and makeup. When I work with clients, I'm figuring that out from their blood types and from their lab presentation, what is the ideal diet for each person. But I think everyone can benefit from eating more plant-based foods for sure,
And talk about, we know about Taste of Healing, just a little briefly what you do.
Okay, so I am a nutritional therapy practitioner.
Big title.
Is my official title. I work with clients one-on-one to help them to heal from all kinds of health conditions. People come to me with digestive issues, blood sugar handling issues, diabetes, cancer, all kinds of things. And I work with looking at their signs and symptoms and their health history, but also like their lab work, hair analysis, DNA analysis, to figure out what does that person's body need to help them to heal from the root cause, from the foundational cause. So I put together a plan for that person with a protocol, recipes and menus. We use supplements as well, but supplements are called supplements for a reason, right? You can't supplement your way out of a bad diet.
That's right. That's very true.
So that's where my logo came in from my company about healing never tasted so good, because this is the kind of food you would eat.
Yes.
Is eating food that is plant-based but tastes divine. If it's going to taste bad, you're not going to want to do it, right?
Right.
So that is the one part of my company. I also have a corporate wellness division, which is at the moment being, some projects are in the running with that. And I like to teach. I like to teach people to cook very much.
And we love to learn from you.
Fantastic. Well, we're just about there. Going to add a tiny bit more broth to this. And that looking divine. Okay.
So colorful, just for fall.
And now I'm going to start adding in some Parmesan cheese. Actually, this particular one is not Parmesan. This is Pecorino Romano, which is the goat-based Parmesan.
Okay.
Yeah, Parmesan Reggiano is cow-based, and the Pecorino Romano is goat cheese. I actually prefer to use goat cheese products when I can, because it's a different milk enzyme, and it's much more digestible to humans than cow's milk is.
Very good to know. We learn all kind of things with you.
That's the whole idea. All right, I'm going to have a little taste now to see how done it is.
It's good.
It still has a bit of bite. You don't want it to be mush.
Okay.
You can see how the grains of the rice are still all separate. Okay. And now I'm going to put in lots of parsley. Parsley is actually a very valuable antioxidant food, and it's a great chelator of heavy metals, which means it grabs the heavy metals and helps the body to release the heavy metals.
Wow.
Yeah. I do a lot of, testing of heavy metals and minerals for my clients, and it's amazing a lot of people are carrying around a lot of toxins. So there's foods that you can eat every day that are helping the body naturally to clear that burden of toxins in the body while you're eating delicious food, right?
Right.
It can't all be depressing.
That's right.
So I think we're ready to serve this up now.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm going to put in a bit more Parmesan. Why not?
Never enough cheese, right?
Never enough cheese. It's the one food that I absolutely cannot give up is Parmesan cheese. Alrighty, so I like to serve this in kind of a soup bowl. Alright, so I think I'm going to grab the spoon, make it easier. Okay, so I love my new spoon that got made for me by the Lost and Found Lumber Company. Isn't it great?
Yes, that's beautiful. Taste of healing. This is almost so pretty I don't want to eat it. It's just
But
so
you have
pretty.
to.
Yes.
And now, Renee, did you know that you can eat flowers?
I learned that talking to Jennifer. I did not know that before, but
These are edible marigolds that I opened up and just a couple of sprigs of her thyme on. And then we're going to take this marigold and just pop it on the side there. Voila!
Perfect.
So this is for you now.
Okay, we have to taste it. Yes.
I'm going to scoot around you. Let me take
I
this
want
out your way.
a spoonful of it all. Gotta get a little bit of a flour. And so
It's hot though, sorry.
that is delicious, Carol.
Awesome.
Never cease
Awesome.
to amaze us. So good. You can get the entire recipe at tasteofhealing.com, right?
Yeah.
And also we have the link to this on our website. Make sure to check it out. And make sure to tune in next week because we're going to be back here again doing another recipe.
Another recipe.
Carol,
Yeah.
right here at J&J Family Farm. We'll have more. See you in